Performance campaign, we're very much interested in performance barriers. Okay, so when we roll out a performance campaign, the first thing we do is we identify what the metrics are. What are the business metrics? The next thing we do is we say what behaviours need to be in place to achieve those metrics. When we've got that absolutely clear, we then say what intent stops those behaviours or is needed to drive those behaviours, and then finally, what blocks that intent. So you go metrics, behaviours, intent, barriers. So in a performance campaign, it's all about the supervisor working with the learner. And the supervisor actually needs more support than the learner, because there's a whole lot of important resources this supervisor needs to deal with this learner who's dealing with one behavioural issue, compared to this learner who's dealing with a different behavioural issue, who's dealing with this learner. So what else on that list did what sort of caught you off guard, if you like, or caught you to think through when you compared the differences? Yeah, you go, please, Catherine.
Like for me, this lady had it right. But I still think that's for both, really, because you still always have to look at knowledge, whether you're doing that a traditional way or
what do the rest of people think about that?
And there often can still be a skill gap, or you have to find the skill gap, and it could be an either. So that was
that's nice, Catherine. Yeah,
opinion,
and your
and I was struck because that's when we were in the middle first, and then I thought, well, actually, is it all about? Is it not just we're not really focusing on people's gaps. We're trying to sort of push the learning not push the learning.
What do the rest of people think? Yeah, that's really good.
One of the speakers just this morning was talking about mindset, motivation, environment as well as being factors in performance gaps, rather than it's not necessarily about the knowledge of the skill gap, but it can be other things as well.
What do other people think?
And I've actually heard that the figures are that aspect is actually 80%.
Yes. Yeah.
And the skills and knowledge are 20%. So that's a really interesting need to refocus a lot of times for L&D.
What do you think, Catherine? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I suppose I'm from a very clinical thing, so skill is really important to me, and people have to have the skill because that they'll make them. You just do, and it's practice to get the skill, but you've got to have the knowledge as to what you do.
Justin, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about this?
Yeah, I think for me it's probably more leaning towards the performance aspect. I think when you start to engage in performance-based conversations, I think people will engage with it better. Where if it's some kind of more focus on the L&D, some people will take to that. I think some people maybe not so much, and will just kind of breeze through the exercise.
So what we say is it's all about will, not skill.